This is the 2025 Brewtubers Online Brewers Club Malt Experiment, Amber Ale. Thanks to our sponsors. 5 Star Chemicals. Check out their new online straight-to-consumer homebrew shop where you can buy everything from Star San and Line Cleaner to the new liquid PBW that can be used at temperatures as low as 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Check out their online store at 5starchemicals.com/home-brewing. Beer and Wine Hobby Homebrew Supply Store. A local homebrew shop in Danvers, Massachusetts. Order any malt they offer in any quantity you want, and if you order before 11 a.m., they'll package your items and ship out the very same day. Visit the store at www.beer-wine.com. Let's get tasting.
Hello everyone out there on YouTube and the Brewtuber community. This is Kurt from Fermentation Adventures, coming back with the next video in the 2025 Brewtubers Specialty Malt Experiment for the American Amber Ale. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing the second last beer in my list. Again, there is really no kind of particular order. This is Rigger Brewing Co. reviewing his beer tonight, or now. His variable was the CaraRed, and again, CaraRed from Weyermann. And again, I'll probably throw his can up here so everyone can see it a little bit closer. But again, the idea with the experiment, we all brewed the same recipe, same amber ale recipe, which was low end of the amber ale scale. Each brewer can then choose a specialty malt of their choosing, add it to the recipe. The only requirement was that the beer stayed a amber ale, within the BJCP parameters. And then we all brewed it, we all packaged it, sent it all out, and we're all reviewing everybody's beers. So there's a lot of these videos out there that should be hitting your YouTube channels. So to get things kicking off, again, this video I'm reviewing Rigger Brewing Co.'s beer. He added to his American Amber Ale, he added CaraRed from Weyermann. Based on his percentage, he said 11.7% of the grist. Again, the other base malts in the recipe before the specialty was added were at 10%. So this malt was added at a higher percentage of the rest of the individual specialty malts that were in the recipe. But so this one would hopefully definitely present and be more prominent in the overall recipe. Again, I know from the video that I just recorded reviewing Irondale Brewing's beer, he did a similar, he had a similar idea. His amber malt from Simpson's, his variable was at a higher level than the other specialty malts in the recipe, and it was definitely very prominent, and it was actually very enjoyable. So let's see how the CaraRed stacks up here. So if I look at the rest of his stats, his original gravity was 1056, a little bit higher than most. His final gravity was 1013, which was pretty much in line with most everyone else. His ABV is 5.8%, which is a little higher than most folks, and his IBUs was 31, which again is probably right in line with everything else. So let's open it up and let's see what we got. Let's dump out the glass, make sure there's no water in it. Here we go. Nice crack, nice little hiss, no apparent foam right off the bat. Let's go with a somewhat aggressive pour here. Yeah, he didn't have an SRM or an estimated SRM statistic on here. But again, this is another sort of in the biscuit malt range. If I'm looking at the Weyermann site, they're given the EBC of 40 to 60, which if we look at it from a Lovabond range, they have that there too. It's from 15 to 23. So again, it's right in some of the other biscuit malts that were used in recipes. This was added. This beer looks pretty similar to the rest. It looks much clearer than some of the other beers I've seen that I poured. Again, the other ones were clear. This one is bordering on brilliantly clear. The foam, interesting enough, again, it's probably a little bit lighter. It's more of an off-white than some of the others that are kind of approaching a more ivory. But here, there's a little bit of a foam ring, some really large bubbles, a little bit of skim kicking out. It's nothing really, not a really dense foam cap or anything by any means. But yeah, it's a very pretty beer. Love the color. Again, lower end, obviously, of the amber ale range, but it looks great. So let's go in here for a sniff. Oh, that's nice. Now, again, this is not intended to be a like a melanoid malt, but I do think I'm getting some of the similar aromas I was getting from the other melanoid malts. Again, nothing in here. Interestingly enough, it's in the biscuit malt range, but supposedly this is kind of a Weyermann caramel or crystal malt, which again is kind of a, the malt, I guess. I'm not up on the malt string, but the malt is kind of stewed and then kind of toasted or roasted a little bit, rather than just having the dry malt roasted, which a lot of the other grains like the like which a lot of the biscuit malts are considered roast malt. Oh, they're lightly roasted. They when we say caramel or crystal malt, we're typically, in my mind, somebody say that it's kind of a stewed malt, so to speak. Almost spilled on myself, but yeah, again, really nice. Again, some more of the lighter, some light caramel notes, some yeah, definitely. Interestingly enough, I'm not really getting like a real kind of sweet caramel note from it, but I do get, to me, it does throw off some honey-esque notes from this. Like a rich honey. And again, some more of those richer, melanoid type aromas I'm definitely getting from this, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it's kind of just the Weyermann processes, where this is a Weyermann malt, and the melanoid malt that we tried was a with Gam Dude's beer was also a was the melanoid malt from Weyermann. But yeah, more caramel, more almost like I would say like a some of the aromas I kind of get from a cola almost, sort of like a Pepsi, so to speak, more than a Coke. Coke to me has more of a spicy note, like a Pepsi, even though it's probably colored darker. That's some of the analogous of the aromas I'm getting from this. Again, with honey and like caramel and some. Again, nothing really is coming off as like overly toasted. There's some subtle toasted notes in here. Maybe a little bit like a toasted sourdough, a lightly toasted sourdough. All right, let's go for a sip. Okay. Yeah, more of that. Almost like a tart. Again, it's not tart. It's like like a rich, a rich toasted note I'm getting from this. Again, when I say tart, it's probably really out of the mix here. Again, I think I'm saying, when I'm saying tart, it's more like a drying sensation I'm getting, which oddly enough, the IBUs are lower, but it seems like the hops that are in here are really coming in and cleaning everything up and giving a dry finish, which is really sort of interesting, because the first sip, the beer presents as kind of a little bit on the kind of the sweet end of things, of a little bit beyond a medium mouthfeel. And again, maybe that's because the ABV's up a little bit. We're up around 6% with this, but yeah, it kind of starts like that, and then again, it makes sense for probably a little bit more of the alcohol is in here. The hops are in here, and the little bit of the alcohol ABV is really drying the palate off, and kind of saying, oh, you thought this is going one way, this is not going anywhere near cloying. We're going to dry off your palate. So Yeah, more of the rich kind of toasted notes. Again, subtly, yeah, I think toasted sourdough is probably one I like from here. That's probably where I was kind of going when I said tart. Again, sourdough, some sourdoughs are going to definitely have a little tart note. And again, that's probably where my mind's going. I'm kind of saying, yeah, this is kind of like a toasted sourdough with a little bit of caramel hanging out on the side, and then with some other honey notes floating around as well. And it's all coming together and amalgamating into this really nicely tasting beer. I really like it. Yeah, again, more character, a lot more character than kind of like my beer, for instance, which is Cinnamar. A lot more character than that. So I really enjoy it. Good beer, great beer. All right, so let's wrap up the tasting there. Now I'll need to rank this beer. My rankings as of we have now, I'll throw up on the screen with everyone's different brews. So right now I need to figure out where this is going to kind of slot in. I grab my marker over here as I'm keeping notes as I go along here. Yeah, this is really tough for me. It's like I'm looking at. I mean, to me, I think the Melanoid malt from Billy's Beer. Billy's Beer is kind of off on its own. It's probably half a step ahead of some of these other here. A lot of these other beers are really good too. I really enjoy, but this one's probably in the cluster right around there. So I'll drop this one in number 4, right underneath Underground Brewery's Griffin Malt, and we'll put Dan in there from Rigger Brewing Co. With his CaraRed. Again, a lot of these beers, it's kind of like splitting hairs. They're all really good. They're already really enjoyable. And again, I have some extra cans, and I'm going to enjoy extra cans, extra bottles. I'm going to enjoy polishing them off if I don't send them out in care packages to other folks. So with that, I'll wrap it up here. One more beer review remaining, and I'll be recording that right now. And the quick thing before we go here, I just want to shout out our club sponsors, 5 Star Chemicals and Beer and Wine Hobby. Thanks very much, so much for supporting the club and making these things possible. Cheers. Yep, it's good. I like it.